This video we are going to discuss about the inheritance. Now inheritance, as you all know, that inheritance is the mechanism by one class of a particular language, like you can say Java or any other class, is just a logical construct, so by which one class acquires the properties of other class. So to explain this, I have decided that I will create one class called as rectangle. This class is rectangle, which has two main features, like the length of a rectangle and the breadth of a rectangle, and then it has certain functions which can help you to calculate the perimeter and then area. You can also calculate the length of diagonal. This is, I call it just LOD. Now this is a rectangular parallelepiped, because if you know that the cuboid is just a solid rectangle, so on this, if you just raise some height, then this will become something like this. Yeah, so now this one will have the main features like the length, breadth and height, and now this one can have surface area, volume and length of diagonal. So now first we can say that the cuboid class is inheriting the rectangle class, and this is called the single inheritance. Like the cuboid class is inheriting the rectangle class, one layer, and this is just a single inheritance. Now I try to design this. So here I come back into this src, and then there I create one class called as rectangle. So this is my rectangle class, and as you all know that the rectangle have length, so I take int L, int B. Now we need some constructor to initialize, so we'll go like public rectangle, and this is my default constructor. And here this constructor will simply set the length and breadth to be 0. So since we all know that the length and breadth are just the memory cells, so they are tagged like the L and B, so if you set it like that, it becomes the length is 0 and the breadth is 0. So now I go for my another public rectangle. Here I write int x comma int y, and then we write L equal x and B equal to y. Then we have certain functions like public, I go for double, I name it as rect underscore diag, that is a rectangle's diagonal, and we know that the diagonals of a rectangle is square root of L square plus B square. So for that I need math, so java dot lang dot math, and then here I simply write return math dot sqrt L into L plus B into B. Now this is done. Now here again I design one function called public area, so I make it integer type, because the product of two integer value will be integer. Here the square root of this L square plus B square cannot be all the time integer, because we cannot expect this to be a perfect square all the time, so sometimes it can become a non-perfect square like 15, 16, 15, 17 and 19 kind of numbers, where the square root will definitely be a decimal number. That's why I made this one as double. Now here the product, because our main variables in length and breadth are the integers, so their product will always be integer. So I write return L into V. Then I need one more class that for the perimeter, so public, that is also public int perimeter. Now here I say return 2 times L plus B. So 2 times L plus B, so length and breadth is calculated. Now I create my class Cuboid. So this class is Cuboid, and this class extends inherit, so extends rectangle. Now rectangle, now you see that here we have two variables, and how do we initialize these variables? With the help of the constructors. So now if this class is created, and we will be working with the object of the Cuboid class, and we want to access the feature of the rectangle class, so we need to make a mechanism so that when Cuboid's class objects are created, at the same time the rectangle class constructors are also invoked. So how can we do that? We can do this with the help of super keyword. So first let me have this variable h, because this class have only one variable, and the two variables length and breadth will be using from our previous class. So now public Cuboid. Now you pay attention here. Yes, here just you write super, and you are not writing anything inside super. It means this super will invoke this default constructor, because default constructor is a constructor where the parameter argument list is empty and it doesn't take any value, but it simply sets the value the way it has been defined. Now here is that it sets the length and breadth to be 0. So here the Cuboid class, when you write this super class, so this class will be invoked, this function will be invoked, means length and breadth will be set to 0. Now super is 0, but the height we do not know anything about that, so we'll set height 0, because height is the instance variable of this class. Now we do the same thing for parameterized. So public Cuboid, here we need three values, int a, int b, int c. They are analogous to lbh. Then with the help of super, we need to pass the two variables to the super class. So when you pass these two variables super, then this constructor will be invoked, this one, and then the length will be set at x and the breadth will be set at y. So here the length will be set at a and the breadth will be set at b, and then we write h equals c. Now so these two functions we have created. Now we need the volume. Now look at this function. This function gives us the length into breadth, product of L into B. And what is the volume of a cuboid? That is L into B into H. So if we take these two values, when I call this function, then this function will return me the product of length and breadth. And if I multiply it with the H, so I'll get my LBH. So I'll do that. Then here I write public int volume. Now this class, since the Cuboid class has inherited the rectangle class, therefore from the Cuboid class I can access the this function of the rectangle class. So here I'll write rectangle h into sorry, this line is not return h into what was the name, area. So area, here this is done. Now same thing, public int s area, that is called the surface area. Now here you see that surface area, cuboid have the 6 surfaces. So the surface area of cuboid is 2 times LB plus BH plus LH, and the perimeter of rectangle is 2 times L plus B, and its area is LB. Now just think that if I multiply this perimeter with H, so H into 2L plus B, what this will become? This will become, I keep 2 outside and press this H inside, so this will LH plus BH. So I have found LH plus BH, and then I already have this LB. So if I multiply this with 2LB, then I can get the whole volume. So it means perimeter of the rectangle into height plus 2 times area altogether is called as the total surface area of the cuboid. So here I write return h into perimeter, and what is the name of the perimeter? That is perimeter, simple perimeter, 2h into perimeter plus 2 into area. Now this is done. Now we go for the length of diagonal, that is public double C diagonal. I write just so that C for cuboid and we can understand it. This is naming it always in your hand. Now here what you know that again this diagonal of a rectangle is under root L square plus B square. However, the diagonal of a cuboid is under root L square plus B square plus H square. So if you square this, then you get L square plus B square like this. D square is this part plus H square. So if you go for this like the diagonal square plus H square inside the square root, then you will get your length of diagonals. How can I do that? I can say return rectdiag into rectdiag plus H into H, and I put everything into the SQRT. So math into SQRT, and then here it is done. Now I go my control room and there I remove all these things, and then this is inheritance, single inheritance. Now we go for these 3 things, copy. Then first I need to create the object. So cuboid CD equal to new cuboid, and then I pass three sides. Suppose I pass 12, 8 and 6. Okay, then I simply go for volume equals plus CD dot volume. Then I go for length of diagonal equals plus CD dot C die. Then I go for total surface area equals plus CD dot S area. Now we are done. Now let me run the code. Remember 12, 8, 6. Just wait, it's coming. Here it comes. Yes, now you see the volume, the length of diagonal and this. But inheritance, like, you can also access the feature from the previous class, like area of floor. If you assume that one as the cuboid as a room, then you can say area of the floor, and then you know that is just area of the rectangle. So I can write CD dot. Now see, with the help of object of CD, I am accessing the feature of rectangle class. That is the positive thing about this one, inheritance. So again I just try here, and this time I will find diagonal, and then with the help of CD, now I'm going to call the diagonal of rectangle. So with the help of objects of the cuboid, I am accessing the features of this one more time. These two are functions. A class is generally a congregation of the variables and attributes. They are called the variables, means memory says where you put the informations, and the attributes are the methods actually. So you can also access the value. So length of rectangle plus, now you write CD dot L. So see, with the help of this one, now at the same time with the help of CD object, which is the object of cuboid, you can access the features of rectangle class. At the same time you can also access the feature of this class. So CD dot H also you can access. So this CD dot H is a very normal thing, because object definitely can fetch the public variables of its own class, but here it is accessing the public variables of the base class, or you can say the super class. That is the terminology used in the inheritance. So thank you very much. Now just see the result, and in the next video we'll talk about the multi-level inheritance, and we also have multiple inheritance and inheritance just to follow. Now see, everything is coming proper. 12, 6. Thank you very much. Just subscribe to our channel and have a very nice time.